This is a helpful beading tip from Turquoise-StringBeads in Fall River, Massachusetts. It's for a beginner level, and it relates to anything to do with basic stringing, how to finish off the endings on your piece, and add on the findings that you'll need to use. Today we're going to be using a basic 11mm lobster claw, 2x2 sterling silver crimps, and after we go over the basics in stringing, we're going to be incorporating crimp covers and some French wire to show you how to make everything look a little more neat and a little more professional. The stringing material that we prefer is soft flex, and we're going to be using a crimper and soft flex cutters. Now, starting off the crimping, let's say you're all done with your piece. You're going to be picking up one 2x2 crimp, and you're going to string it onto your soft flex. Once you have that on, you're going to take your clasp, whether it be a lobster claw or a toggle, you're going to string it onto the soft flex, and then you're going to take your end and you're going to run it back through your 2x2 crimp, sliding it up to the clasp. You don't want to get right up against the clasp. You want to leave a little bit of wiggle room so that your lobster claw can move freely, because if you don't, people might tend to pull on it a little more and it could cause the piece to break. Now, there are two portions in a crimper that you want to use when crimping, and since you can't really see it on the camera, I'm going to use the back of the crimping tool card to show you. There are two sections you want to look for. One is the shape of an eyeball or a football, and the one directly behind it looks like a pair of lips or a heart. These are the two sections you want to use when crimping. Any open space you see behind that is just open part of the crimper. You don't want to touch it. You only want to use your first two sections. To crimp, I'm going to take my crimp and I'm going to slide it into the second section first, the one that looked like the pair of lips or a heart. And it's very important to make sure that the entire crimp is sitting in the crimper. After I set it in, I'm going to give it a nice tight squeeze, and that is going to squish the bead and give it a straight line, an indentation straight down the center of it. Once I have that nice indentation, I'm going to take it and I'm going to turn it up on its side and then put it in the front section. And I'm going to give it another squeeze, and that's going to take that indentation that I made and it's going to fold it over. So you're actually squishing it and folding it over twice. That is the most basic way to finish off any basic strung project. But we're also going to go over different things you can add in to make it look more professional and more finished. Something really important that we learned from working with Laura McCabe years ago, that the devil really is in the details. Little things you can do to take something from average to extraordinary. This is something basic, but we prefer, when we're doing it, to incorporate French wire and to incorporate crimp covers. The French wire will make it so that loop that is attaching your lobster claw to your piece, you don't just see gray soft flex. You're going to see a little bit of sterling silver, and then something to cover up that crimp and make it look a little more finished off. Doing that, you want to start off the same way you did before. You're going to grab a sterling silver crimp, you're going to slide it onto your soft flex. Before you slide on your lobster claw, you're going to take your French wire now, and you're going to slide that on to your soft flex. I like to cut maybe 1/3 of an inch in length. It makes for a nice size loop. Then I'm going to slide on my lobster claw and I'm going to slide it onto the portion of the French wire. Then, just as I did before, I'm going to take the end of, I'm going to take my soft flex and I'm going to put it back through my crimp, and then I'm going to pull it so that it slides up to where the French wire ends. Once I do that, the crimping is the same as it was before. I'm going to put it in the second section first. Nice tight squeeze, which creates that indentation right down the center and squishes the bead. I turn it on its side, and then I put it in the front section, which takes that indentation and it folds it over. Now, to cover up that crimp bead so that you don't see it there, I'm going to set this down for a second, I'm going to take a sterling silver crimp cover. It's a sterling silver bead that has a cut in it and it's opened up. And a really quick and easy way to do this is to take it and sit it inside of your crimper so that you're holding it with the open side facing out. Once you have it like that, you're going to take it, you're going to slip it over the crimp that you just crimped, and you're going to give it a nice light pinch, and then maybe another 2 or 3 to make sure that the seam lines up to where it should be. And that covers up the sterling silver crimp bead that you just used. So if you compare the two, you have something very basic ending, or you can add 2 extra little things to make it look a lot more professional and make it look really nice, really nicely finished. That's it for now. We hope this was helpful to you. We'll have lots more helpful hints, so stay tuned. In the meantime, happy beading from Turquoise-StringBeads in Fall River, Massachusetts.